video. This is Prime Day 2023, and I've compiled a list of things that you definitely need for your sewing room and found you the best deals on Amazon. This is me, Katie, with Make It With Katie, and I'm also joined today by Vi, the sewing room cat. She likes to curl up by my serger when I'm sewing, so she definitely wanted to be involved with the video today. She keeps climbing all over all of my equipment and keyboard. So you'll probably see her in and out throughout the video. So let's start at the beginning. Cutting is a great place to start, and you need a couple of things when you're starting to cut in the sewing room beyond just scissors. Obviously, I've got some great picks for scissors. But the first thing that you have to have is a big old cutting mat, self-healing with the grid. It just makes laying your patterns out, even if you're using the Ditto, a million times easier. So I have here the Adair cutting mat. And here it is. It is on a Prime Day deal. It is 22% off. I love this one because you can flip to both sides, and it is nice and large. A lot of people make the mistake of getting their first cutting mat, they order it, and then they find out it's like an 18 by 12, and that's really not going to help you at all. So this one's huge, it's self-healing, and it is on sale today with Prime. Ooh, look at this one though. 18 by 24. No, I'd rather have the 30 by 42. Trust me. You'll thank me later. All right, let's talk rotary cutters. See, going live, super exciting. No idea what I'm doing. I think there's supposed to be comments or something somewhere. Anyhow, if you would like to ask a question as I'm going along about sewing equipment or about my picks, or if you're looking for something specific for your sewing room, just please let me know, and hopefully I'll see a chat and be alerted to that question. Again, no idea what I'm doing. So here's a rotary cutter. I used to think that rotary cutters were only for quilters because they're like perfect for going in that straight line. You put your ruler down and you just go. But with the introduction of the Ditto, I'm finding that I really love the rotary cutter to cut curves and clothing and all sorts of patterns. This one I chose for the Prime Day deal because it is on sale, but also it comes with 10 replacement blades, which is awesome. It is so nice to just be able to pop it out and start over again when you start getting a messy cut. So I did promise you we were going to talk about rulers. And this is not a Prime Day item. And sometimes you have to look, is this a good deal overall, or is this a good Prime Day deal? This is an excellent ruler. You want that heavy acrylic so that your rotary cutter doesn't slice through your ruler, and I've done that before. And I really like the longer, the 18-inch is my sweet spot, but a 6.5 by 24 is also really nice. And this is a good price for one. And I love that it's highly visible with this teal and the big grid lines. Some of them are very light with tiny lines. You can't read them. So that's why I chose this one. Now let's talk scissors as we go down the list. By the way, if you want this list, let me know. I'll get you on my email list and I'll email it to you with the hyperlinks to all my favorite Prime Day products for the sewing room. So I am obsessed with Ginger Springer Action Scissors, and let me tell you, these are not on Prime Day. I just personally love these. It's what I used to cut almost everything. The fact that they're spring action takes the fatigue out of your hand, makes it easier to cut, so that's really nice. So these are around $40, and guess what? They're usually around $40. So not a Prime Day deal, but a good deal. This one, however, caught my eye. I don't know anything about this brand, but they were showing up all over the cutting mats and the rulers. Mr. Pin. Please let me know if you've ever used this brand before, because I'm super interested in it, and I just made my entire chat window go away. Cool. Cool. So I'm gonna try these out. Honestly, for $9, rose gold scissors, I think it's gonna be worth a try. All right, let's do cutting tables. Now, the reason you want that really nice cutting mat is because you know, you're gonna throw that down on whatever cutting table you're using, and your cutting table may be your kitchen table, you know, It might be your desk. But if you are lucky enough to have a little bit more room, a cutting table that is stable, it won't rock when you're using it, and that has some storage is such a huge blessing. So I really love the Solder Craft Pro Series work table. It is 41% off right now, still $370. So like I said, if you're just getting into sewing, putting the cutting mat on your kitchen table is fine. But when you're starting to get a sewing room together, this kind of storage is awesome. Plus, just the stability of your table not rocking when you use your rotary cutter is going to make a huge difference for you. However, a lot of people don't have that permanent space, and their cutting table is going to need to be something that can come out when they need it and be put away. And so this is like the classic standard cutting table. The Sew Ready fold away. I have one. It's my mom's from way back in the day before we upgraded her. And they're just nice for those spaces that you need to be able to be flexible. I also use my cutting table, the same one, the fold away one, for my gift wrapping station. I have a little cart right by my sewing area that just has some ribbon and tape and scissors. And again, it's just a nice big flat surface that can go away when you don't need it. So total win. All right, let's talk about marking. I have a bunch of options here, but the one that I'm going to show you is this kind of all-in-one marking kit. Yep, that makes sense that it wouldn't go. Because it's got the friction pins. So the friction pins were kind of discovered. They were writing pins that people were writing with, and then you can erase them with the eraser, but really it's the friction and the heat that makes the ink go away. So more recently, these guys have been showing up in the quilting and sewing circles because you hit them with your iron and that ink just disappears. They're really awesome, and they're good for precision points when you just need a little bit. I'm still also a huge fan of Taylor's chalk. I know I'm old-fashioned, but I like to have it around, and it's cheap and it's replaceable. So this is a great Prime exclusive deal. You get a little bit of everything, including these traditional dressmaker's pencils, so you can find out what you like to mark with, which is great. Right, to the area everyone wants to know about, right? Sewing machines. So I have strong feelings on sewing machines. And those feelings involve, if you are buying a cheaper sewing machine, it's probably going to be lighter weight, and it's probably not going to be very robust. And by that I mean you're going to throw your timing out, you're going to burn your motor out, you're going to have all sorts of sewing related problems. I've seen people come to me and say that they're bad at sewing and they're very disappointed, but really they just have a difficult to use sewing machine. So that being said, I would get a heavy duty machine if I was going to start at a low end model. It's just going to be better for you in the long run. It may not have the bells and whistles, but it is going to be more reliable and mess up less often. So this is the Singer Heavy Duty 4452. It is a dial operated machine, which means you're going to click the dial around for the stitch you want instead of a computerized machine where you're going to punch in the number on a little pad. And it's just a good, stable machine at an awesome price. To have a heavy duty Singer under $200 is pretty exciting. So if you are looking for a machine and you're just getting started, snap this one up. All right, what else I got? So I couldn't find any sergers on Amazon Prime. And you know, if you know me, that serging is life. It's my favorite thing to do. So I'm going to do something pretty crazy and actually suggest my old serger, the one that I burned up that gave me so many problems for a couple of reasons. So let me go to it and then we'll talk about it. So it's this one right here, the Brother Lock 1034. I'm going to go ahead and put that on my list for you again. If you would like a list of all the things you need to start off your sewing room, let me know and we got you covered. So I complained about this a lot because I've burned out the motor on it 3 times. My husband had to replace it and I eventually knocked it out of time. But you guys, I'm brutal brutal on my sergers particularly. So I can't really blame the brother for this one, the brother lock. The 1034 is a great machine and it makes a beautiful stitch, and most importantly, it is so easy to thread for a serger. So if you're looking to start your sewing room, start serging, this one's an okay one at a good price that's very available on Amazon. So it's not on a Prime deal, but it is still worth checking out if that's something that you're needing to stock your sewing room with. All right, so thread. I wasn't able to find my very favorite thread, which is Gutermann brand, on Amazon Prime deals. But if you're into embroidery, I found this. It's 100 spools, no, 80 spools, and it's $55. So that's pretty incredible for 80 spools to get less than $1 a spool. It's pretty amazing. I've never heard of the Red brand before, but I would maybe be willing to try it at that price. So haven't tried this one personally, just making you aware that this deal is out there. Moving on. So I always like to have pins, sewing pins. I know a lot of people use magic clips, and I will add them to my list. I'm sorry I didn't think of them earlier. But when I am using a pin, I make absolutely sure that it is a flat head iron pin, which means you can iron over it. It's not going to melt or crack or break or mess up your fabric. The fact that it's flat also means that as you press your iron over it, it's not going to indent your fabric, which is really nice. So this is a 200-piece set for under $6. That's awesome, because you're going to lose and break those pins anyways. Trust me. Okie dokie. So talking about irons, you got to have a great iron, guys. And here is how, this is how you pick a great iron. You're going to look for a lot of steam holes and a good distribution of steam holes. So let me see if I can get a close-up of this. Okay, so this is a Rowena. They're really well known in the fabric world, if you will, and you'll notice that there are lots of steam holes over the entire body of the iron. If you look at your iron just for ironing clothes, you might see that it has maybe 8 to 12 steam holes, and they're kind of like in the center of the iron. So this is what you're looking for when you're looking for something to press your seams in the sewing room. It's something with lots of holes, a nice sharp point, and good even distribution. So this is a Prime Day deal. It's 27% off, and we can check really quick. Yep, this is the lowest price in 30 months. So just always double check. This is what I personally want to buy. So if anybody out there is just like, man, I'm gonna get Katie a present, this is it right here. I have my sewing room set up. I have my iron upstairs in the sewing room in the very back of the house, if you will. And I feel like it's just nice to have a separate iron that's ready to go for just clothing. That way you're not messing your project up, you're not moving stuff off your project ironing board. It's quick, it's easy, it's downstairs, preferably near the sewing room. My mom has one of these. It just opens and pops out. It looks like a cabinet or a mirror when it's closed. And I really want one, guys. So maybe I just put that on the list because I'm jealous. When it comes to sewing baskets, people are like, oh, I want to get a sewing basket. I just want to do hand sewing. That's great. However, I have found better use out of toolkits. Hear me out. So first of all, those little sewing baskets you get from like your local craft store, they're way too small. Way too small. You're not going to be able to fit everything you need in there, and not enough pockets. That little flimsy plastic tray that pulls out, useless. So when I'm doing some sewing on the go, going to a con, going to a festival, I actually pack my little tool case with all my pockets, and that's what I take with me. So weird thing, but I wanted to include it for sure. All right. Let's go over lights. Lights, I think, are kind of an underrated part of the sewing room experience. So this one was a Prime Day deal, 16% off, and it is a magnifying glass and light that clicks to your like clamps to your table or can sit as a pedestal on your table. So super nice there. You have some options, which is really nice. And it's just good for like if you're threading or if you're like me and you are picking stitches out, having the magnifier and the light in the same place is an absolute godsend. A lot of people also would like more light while they're sewing, and the answer to that is an LED light strip that, oop, did I not save that? Copy, paste. We know our internet shortcuts. So it looks like I did not save the correct one, but there is a Honeywell one that I will correct in my notes again. If you would like a list of everything you need to stock out your sewing room, I have the list with the hyperlinks to Amazon to take advantage of Prime Day. Because even if it's not a Prime Day deal, you're still going to be able to get 5 to 7% back depending on how you choose to pay. So, squirrel, literally. So the Honeywell one that I was looking at, which I just cannot, here it is, yes. This one actually has the plug already built in, so you don't have to do any wiring, soldering. You just peel the sticky tape off the back, and you're gonna put it right in the throat of your sewing machine to really light up your sewing area and, more importantly, your threading area. All right, so let's talk about the biggest Prime deal that I think I saw when I was doing this research for you guys. Look at this table. So it's a sewing table, it's on wheels. So again, if you're working in kind of a flex space, you can put the whole thing closed and rolled into a corner. It does close like a little cabinet. It has built-in thread holders and drawers, which I love. I'm all about organization. And it is 20% off right now, which is definitely the low of 30 days. Very exciting. So if you're looking for something, yes, irons are the best. Thank you. I'm so glad that the sound is working and I now know that. Thanks, Robert. So yep, irons are the bomb. Okay, so that is probably the best deal I saw as far as savings go on Amazon for items. And it's just so practical because you want a solid table that's not going to shake when you're sewing, and having room close by at hand for all your accessories is absolutely crucial as well. So I know that everyone who gets into sewing eventually becomes a fabric hoarder, and I'm no different. So I looked up some storage solutions for fabric hoarders like us for our sewing room. And the first one are these clear bins. They come in a ton of really cute colors. And the door opens. So you stock them from the top, and then you can open the door in the front to pull whatever fabric you're going after out, which is just hugely useful because sometimes you buy 5 colors of fleece because you know you're going to do something with them, and then you can't find them when you need them. You know, you put them in those tubs that you can't see through, or they're at the bottom of the tub and you got to dig it out. So I really like the idea that you can stack them like vertically in a row, like books on a bookshelf, open the front and pull out what you need. Following the same idea, but like if you have more fabric, because more fabric's always better. We have, oh, nope. You guys, I'm just crushing the copy paste in. This much larger one, and on this one you can open them again from the front. You've got a double door, open from the front, open from the top. They stack. You can make a total cabinet out of these. And not only is this a Prime Day deal, but also you can collect a coupon for a little more money off. And it's a buy 2 save 3% on top of that. So if you need it in a couple of rooms in your house or you have a lot of crafts, you can save that way. So make sure that if you go for this one, you are clicking every single thing to get your money's worth. Yes, I see that my live stream is catching up to the part where I was talking about the tool chest instead of the sewing box. It is way better for traveling and tailoring jobs. And I actually used mine all the time when I was working Ren Fair, and I had a clear, organizer with all the buttons and latches and hook and eyes that I thought I might need, like in an emergency, a sewing emergency. So again, toolbox, way better. All right, guys, just a reminder, those are a few of the Prime Day deals for 2023 for stocking your sewing room. If you would like the full list, like I have it right here, with the hyperlinks to my picks, let me know and we'll get you on the emailing list and send you out one of these lists so that you can stock your sewing room and take advantage of these great deals. Thank you so much for coming to my live stream. I know it was a little rough at the beginning and I wasn't sure I had sound for about half of it, but successful overall. So thanks for hanging with me. You know, I'm all about trying something new and this was huge new for me. I hope that you are also getting the best Prime